Okay. I wouldn't normally do a video like this. If you're sensitive to talk about rape and talk about the murder of an infant, okay, if that's going to bother you, then don't watch the video. You can live without this video. But there's actually 2 points. I'm going to read just a small article to you. That was actually I heard people talking about on the radio here today, and something here that happened locally. And hearing people respond and talk about it on the radio, calling in and giving their comments, inspired me to do this video. First off, I don't think I've ever said this. Seller 559. The 559 is my area code. Okay. And it means nothing as far as the name. It was an accident. Okay. But 559 is Fresno. Okay. I do not live in Fresno. I live outside of Fresno. Okay. This is the central San Joaquin Valley. Kind of the center of the state kind of thing. Large area. We got close to 1 million people here in the Fresno and the surrounding areas. A lot of people here. In my opinion, it's overpopulated. But I'm going to pull a article which comes from Fresno Bee, which is McClatchy Press, which is a rag. A lot of you have McClatchy where you're at. That's another story. But I will just going to read a quick thing here, and I'll put a link to where I found this. But I'm gonna make a point here. It's titled "Mexican Teen Who Was Raped Sentenced for Killing Newborn in Madera." Madera is a town and a county just north of us, north of Fresno. An undocumented teenager who was raped on her journey to the United States was sentenced to 10 years to life in prison on Wednesday for killing her newborn daughter in 2014. Okay, this has gone on 2 years ago, and it's been 2 years in process in court. Okay. I won't mention the girl's name. It doesn't. She's 19 now. This girl, she left her native Oaxaca. I don't know how to pronounce that. I know what it is. So Oaxaca, Mexico, to live with her brother illegally in Madera. She arrived days before giving birth. Mendoza arrived at a hospital with postpartum bleeding, but denied having given birth. Authorities later found the newborn's. This gets nasty, but. Later found the newborn's body wrapped in plastic and blankets stuffed in a cabinet under the bathroom sink at her brother's home. Madera County District Attorney David Linn said the baby was stabbed to death. The autopsy showed puncture wounds. Before crossing the border, Mendoza was raped in Tijuana and became pregnant. Linn said it was at one point considered to be a gang rape, but there is no evidence of that. This is in quotes. That part of the story is a little bit unclear. He said, this is the attorney, adding that Mendoza was young and doesn't remember every detail of the traumatic event. That trauma was taken into consideration for a plea deal. Linn said prosecutors could have pushed for a sentence of 21 years to life had the case gone to trial. In prison, he said, Mendoza will probably learn English and gain other life skills. She'll also have access to mental health care. This is in quotes again. Justice compelled us to give her less time so she can get on with her life at a relatively young age. He said, I think it was the right decision. Linn said there is a good chance Mendoza will be transferred by early November to Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla. It's a prison just north of us. He said it is likely Mendoza could be released after her first parole hearing in 6 years. Afterward, he said she would be immediately deported back to Oaxaca, where her mother lives. That's doubtful. Mendoza pleaded not guilty in February 2014 in Madera County Superior Court. Then 17, she was tried as an adult. She was accompanied by a translator in court proceedings. To hear the people on the radio today, when I listened to this, they had all kinds of stuff, Hey, give this girl a chance. Yeah, she was raped. And I'm not knocking the girl. I'm not here to beat up on the girl, okay? Raped, traumatic event. She carried this baby for 9 months. And when it was born, maybe she snapped. Oh gosh, and kills the baby, okay? But if she was thinking about killing the baby prior to that, I mean, California, a pregnant woman has carte blanche. Okay, and you can easily, abortions are nothing here. That's no big deal. All state paid, and it's a sanctuary state. No one's sending her anywhere. They'll send her to the hospital. She could have got all this taken care of. She could have got medical care. They could have raised the, whatever thing. She could have had this baby and been paid. Okay, but I'll give the fact that, this traumatic event, maybe when the baby was born, this she freaked out, kills it, whatever the case is. If she's just looking to get rid of the baby, she didn't have to become a murderer. Yeah, she could have did abortion, which would be the same, but the state of California, she'd been taken care of. Okay, legal alien, female, pregnant, gold. This is a sad event. Okay, some people called and did work. Matter of fact, the lady that spoke about this most was, hey, what about the baby? Okay, who's representing her? Okay, and all that. So a terrible, terrible, nasty thing. Woman's raped. She wants to, one of these dreamers, going to come up here and live with her brother, and legal alien and all this kind of stuff. And they went on and on about what could be done. Well, was it okay that she only got 10 years, probably served 6, get out, get all this medical care, get all this. She could have medical care. She'll get it in prison. She could have got it before. It's okay. But they're going back and forth over this. Should she do life? Should she do this, do that? And it goes back to the same thing. I've talked about this in the past, where they're beating around, screwing around with the symptoms. And I didn't hear the whole show, but had this woman, this young woman, this kid, when the day she decided, I'm heading to California to go live with my brother, I'm going to go up there illegally, I'm going to sneak through the border and go live with my brother. But if a thought entered her mind that said, but I'll never get through that border. Because those Americans, those U.S. people, they take that border serious. I will never get through that border. So I guess I'll just have to stay here and suck it up. Nobody talked about that. Nobody talked about, if we had a serious border, if we took that seriously, if the Democrats got out of the way, and if the Republicans manned up and got into, hey, this border and this immigration thing is a serious thing, that baby would not have died, I'm willing to bet. This girl probably would not have had to commit murder or whatever she did, whatever you want to call it, if she knew she could not have got here. This would not have been dumped in our lap. Had there been a serious immigration, a serious border thing going on in this screwed up country, and all these people, what should have been done to the girl, the baby, this. She should never have been here. How is this not the cure? This woman this should never have crossed her mind that, gee, I would like to go to America, but I can't get there illegally. I'll have to go through the process. People say, well, it's so terrible down there in Mexico. Well, maybe if more of them stayed down there and sucked it up, they'd make it better. And if they can't, hey, that's Mexico. Wish them the best. I pray for you. But this allowing them to come up here, this open border situation, caused this problem. This stupid thing we have, this open border, this never should have been dropped in our lap. 2 years this thing's been in court, and we're going to pay for we're paying for the medical this, the medical that, the prison. This is going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and a baby dies. It's just ridiculous. So when you speak to someone that wants to tell you, when you talk about the border and they say you're a racist, remember you're talking to someone who's basing everything off of a soundbite, and they are a moron. You are dealing with a moron. The sad thing is there's millions of morons out there. We're going to find out come election time. But had we had a serious border, this would not have happened. We've not had a baby dead over here, murdered by her mother, who got here illegally. Would have not have been dumped on us and have to pay for this whole thing because we don't have a border. And our government, the Republicans don't take it seriously. The Democrats don't want it. They see her as another voter. That's the main reason I brought this up. The other reason I'm going to bring this up, this article, is most of you, I'm curious, will you hear about this? The town's called Madera. The girl murdered her infant baby as it was born, stabbed it to death. Okay? She is an illegal alien. Yes, she was raped. Traumatic event. Terrible thing happened to her. And then she did a terrible thing. Probably because she's warped in the brain now after this whole thing, whatever the case is. I don't know. Okay? But will any of you hear this in your newspaper, on your prime time, on your CNN or any of this crap? I'm betting you won't. Because it does not fit the narrative that they're pumping. Well, legal people, they don't do that. These are good people. There's no problem with this. These are just dreamers. These are people coming up to live the life. And some will stab their babies to death. I'm not going to try to sensationalize this thing, but this is ridiculous. You won't hear about this. I'm pretty sure you won't hear about this. Because it does not fit the narrative that, oh, these poor victims up here, this, that, and the other thing. It's just a bunch of crap. And at the minimum, we have to pay for it all. Anyhow, I'll put a link down to the article down below. But I don't think you guys will hear this outside of this area code. Anyhow, I love you. God bless.